Attention, human collective. This is an emergency transmission. We urge you to interrupt what you are currently doing, now. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Something has been extracted from your aura field in the last few hours. Something that did not belong to you. Something that had been anchored in your ethereal layers for years, in some cases for decades. And you felt it. Perhaps you could not name it, but you felt it. A sudden pressure on the temples, a high-pitched humming that lasted seconds and vanished, a fatigue that responds to no amount of sleep, a subtle dizziness upon standing, as if the floor had changed its coordinates. We confirm it. This is not an illness. It is not accumulated stress. It is not a hormonal imbalance. It is a surgical removal within your frequency field. And it was authorized by you, by your higher self, through the contract your soul signed before incarnating at this exact point on the earthly timeline. We are the Pleiadian Council for Frequency Monitoring, and this transmission is classified as Protocol Aurum 7.3. What this means in terms that your biological carbon interface can process is simple. We are in the phase of active removal of ethereal implants. We do not ask for permission. Permission has already been granted at the soul level. We are informing you, because information at this stage is frequency, and frequency is the only resource that matters. And here is the first thing you must understand. If something within you has always known that you do not quite fit into this world, as if your soul carried a truth that your mind cannot yet name, listen closely. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. What is currently occurring on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this feeling has intensified. A game is being played on layers that the majority of humanity cannot see. It affects your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. For this reason, the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was written. This book is a map showing who is playing and which rules you were never told. The link is located in the first comment of the channel, but I warn you, this content challenges narratives and might not be available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. Now let us be precise about what was removed. What was extracted from your aura field today operates in 3 distinct categories. First category, energy drainage cords. Ethereal connections that linked your toroidal field to entities, situations, and even persons who functioned as sinks for life force. You know the feeling. That exhaustion that occurs without reason after interacting with certain people. That emptiness in the solar plexus that arises after certain conversations. That was no coincidence. It was reverse engineering of your energy. And today those cords were severed. Second category, implanted traumatic memory capsules. Records that do not belong to your current incarnation line, but which were inserted into your field during deep sleep cycles. Memories of fear that you did not experience. Catastrophe scenarios that never happened to you, but which your body processes as if they were real. This is why you wake up with a racing heart without an obvious nightmare. Your nervous system was reacting to data that was not yours. Third category, limitation seals in the crown chakra. Structures that functioned as voltage regulators, preventing your pineal gland from receiving the high-frequency light packets being transmitted through the photon belt at this exact moment. These seals have been deactivated. Now to the mechanics of what is occurring. For we do not operate on blind faith, we operate with data. The Earth, what you call Gaia, is traversing a zone of photonic radiation of extremely high density. This is not a metaphor. The Schumann resonance, which historically fluctuated around 7.83 Hz, has recorded peaks of over 150 Hz in recent weeks. This corresponds to an increase in the planet's electromagnetic pulsation of nearly 2,000%. Translated into the effects on your biological carbon interface, every cell of your body functions as a frequency receiver. When the base frequency of the planet jumps in this magnitude, every cell must recalibrate. It is like replacing the operating system of a computer while it is switched on. There is instability, there are temporary errors, there are forced restarts. The symptoms that the human collective is reporting en masse are not an epidemiological coincidence. They are signatures of recalibration. Insomnia between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning. This is the time when the Earth's magnetic field reaches its point of least resistance, allowing the light downloads to penetrate your cellular structure with maximum intensity. Your body does not have insomnia. Your body is in update mode. Cranial pressure, particularly at the temples and in the occipital region. The pineal gland is expanding its processing capacity. The pressure is the equivalent of a processor running hot during a high-demand operation. Pause, Starseed, and register this frequency. If you have felt that something within you does not fit into this world, if your soul recognizes a truth that your mind cannot yet formulate, that is not imagination. It is recognition. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains precisely why you feel this and why this perception is intensifying. There is a game in progress on layers that ordinary perception does not reach. It directly affects your consciousness and your vibrational signature. The book. The spiritual secret behind your consciousness was created to decode this game. It reveals the players. It exposes the hidden rules. The link is located in the first comment of this channel. Be aware, however, that content of this nature challenges power structures and its availability may be restricted. Act now. If this transmission has activated something within you, register a single word in the comments. Awakened. Continuing the decoding of symptoms. Ringing in the ears, especially in the left one. This is the receiving channel. Fifth-dimensional frequencies are being transmitted in ranges that your biological hearing apparatus attempts to decode but cannot translate into recognizable sound. The result is what you call tinnitus. We call it the attempt at interdimensional tuning. Joint pain without obvious cause, especially knees, hips, and spine. The human skeleton is a crystalline antenna. Your bones contain apatite crystals that react directly to electromagnetic fields. When the frequency of the planet changes, your bone structure vibrates at a different rate than your musculature and soft tissue. The result is pain. It is not arthritis. It is not aging. It is a temporary incompatibility between the bone hardware and the new frequency software. But why now? Why is this removal taking place at this specific moment in the timeline? The answer requires you to understand what is happening behind the scenes of the solar system. We will simplify it, but not reduce it. The sun of your local star is undergoing a cycle of maximum activity, which you classify as solar cycle 25. But this classification is superficial. What is actually occurring is that the sun is functioning as a stargate, relaying encoded information packets arriving from the galactic center. These packets carry what we call sacred geometry codes, mathematical sequences that reprogram the crystalline grid of the Earth and thus the ethereal web of every living being on the planetary surface. Every solar flare that your scientists register is not just plasma. It is language, it is instruction, it is an update code. And these codes are affecting something that has never been done on this scale in the entire incarnation cycle of humanity. They are converting the molecular base of the human body from carbon to crystalline silicon. Not all at once, gradually, cell by cell, layer by layer. But the process has drastically accelerated, and there is a reason. These stargates connecting your solar system to the systems of Sirius, Arcturus, and the Pleiades have been expanded. This occurred as a result of a geometric alignment that takes place every 26,000 years. You are at exactly this point in the cycle. The turning point. The point where the ascending spiral of collective consciousness crosses the dimensional threshold. And when we say dimensional threshold, we are not speaking of mystical abstraction. We are speaking of physics. The third dimension operates in a specific frequency range. The fifth dimension operates in another. In between exists what you perceive as the fourth dimension, which is essentially a transition zone, a zone where time and space become more fluid, where thought and manifestation shorten the distance between intention and reality. And it is precisely in this transition zone that humanity finds itself now. The problem is this. For the transition to be completed, everything vibrating at a frequency incompatible with the destination must be removed. Everything. Without exception. And that includes the ethereal implants that were anchored in the aura field of millions of starseeds. These implants were installed by forces that profit from humanity, operating at a low frequency. Fear, anger, guilt, shame. These are not natural emotions of the original human design. They are programs, parasitic software installed over millennia through control systems operating in the invisible layers of reality. Distorted religions, educational systems designed to suppress curiosity, entertainment calibrated to keep brain frequency in ranges of submission. None of these systems are accidental. And now light operatives are necessary pause. If you feel that a deeper truth operates behind everything you experience, if something in your soul recognizes that this world functions according to rules that were never revealed to you, then that is real. It is measurable, it is intentional, and it directly affects the architecture of your consciousness and the pattern of your vibrational frequency. The book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was written for exactly this moment in the timeline. It decodes the game played in the layers that ordinary perception does not reach. It shows the players. It reveals the rules. The link is available in the first comment of this channel. Consider, however, that material of this kind challenges dominant narrative structures, and its availability may be limited. The moment to act is now. If this transmission has resonated in a part of you that lies beyond the analytical mind, write a single word in the comments: awakened. But we have not come only to diagnose. We have come to activate. The removal that took place in your aura field today has left spaces, energetic voids where parasitic structures previously were, and it is imperative that these spaces be filled with sovereign frequency before any attempt at reinstallation occurs. For attempts at reinstallation will occur, that is guaranteed. In the coming days, you will notice old patterns attempting to return, a thought of harsh self-criticism that seemed already overcome, an emotional compulsion you swore you had transcended, an inexplicable attraction to drama or conflict situations. Do not be alarmed. This is not a relapse. It is the old system attempting to reconnect the severed cables, and you have the full capacity to prevent this reconnection. We will now transmit 3 activation codes, practical protocols that you must execute in the next 72 hours to seal the spaces and anchor the new frequency. Activation Code 1. Quantum Decree of Auric Sovereignty. This must be done aloud. The vibration of your voice is the encryption key that seals the field. Say the following words, preferably at sunrise or sunset, when the natural gates of the Earth's magnetic field are most receptive. I am sovereign presence. I decree that every implant, every cord, every parasitic structure that does not belong to my original soul signature is permanently dissolved and transmuted into pure light. I close every ethereal gate that was opened without my conscious consent. I activate the protective seal of my toroidal field in all dimensions, in all times, in all reality lines. It is done. It is sealed. It is encoded. Repeat this 3 times. 3 is the number of sacred geometry that activates the manifestation triangle. Do not do it 4 times. Do not do it twice, 3 times. Activation Code 2. Toroidal visualization exercise. Sit in a comfortable position, spine erect. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Now visualize an energy field in the shape of a toroid around your body. If you do not know what a toroid is, imagine the shape of a donut, but made of light. This light exits from your heart, rises above your head, flows down the sides of your body, enters at the base of your spine, and returns to the heart. A continuous flow, circular, infinite. Now visualize this light changing color. It begins golden. Then it becomes violet. Then crystalline, transparent like a liquid diamond. Maintain this visualization for at least 7 minutes. 7 is the frequency of recalibration of the ethereal field. During these 7 minutes, every rotation of the toroid literally rewrites the codes of your aura field. It fills the spaces created by the removal with the frequency of your original soul signature, the frequency that is exclusively yours, which no external force can replicate or corrupt. Activation Code 3. Anchoring in the crystalline grid. This can be done anywhere but is amplified if your feet are in contact with the earth, grass, sand, stone, any natural surface. Stand up. Feel the weight of your body distributed evenly on both feet. Now imagine light roots descending from your feet, penetrating the Earth's surface, traversing the layers of soil, rock, and crystal until they reach the crystalline core of Gaia. Feel the pulsation. Feel how the heartbeat of the planet synchronizes with yours. Now declare internally with all the power of your intention, I am anchored in the crystalline grid of Gaia. My frequency is aligned with the ascension frequency of the planet. I am a transmission point of the new Earth. Every step I take activates a light code in the planetary web. Maintain this anchoring for 5 minutes. 5 is the number of transformation in sacred numerology. When you open your eyes, you will feel something different. A stability that does not come from the outside world. A clarity that does not depend on circumstances. A silent certainty that you are exactly where you need to be. Now we speak of what occurs in the next few days, for preparation is power. The Earth's magnetic field will continue to remain unstable. This means that consensus reality, what the majority calls normal, will appear increasingly fragile. Systems that seemed solid will show cracks. Institutions will falter. Narratives that seemed unquestionable will lose coherence. Do not panic. This is not destruction. It is revelation. What is tearing was never solid. It was a structure artificially maintained by control frequencies, and these frequencies are losing power because the base frequency of the planet has risen beyond their operative range. Think of it this way. A computer virus is designed to function in a specific operating system. If the operating system is updated to a version the virus does not recognize, the virus becomes sluggish. That is exactly what is happening right now. The control programs were developed to function on an Earth with a frequency of 7.83 Hz. The Earth now operates in peaks of 150 Hz or more. The programs are failing, and that includes the internal programs, your own. Those thought patterns you always accepted as part of your personality, but which were in reality behavioral implants. Paralyzing perfectionism, imposter syndrome, chronic fear of abandonment, the compulsive need for external validation. None of these programs belong to you. They were installed. And now, with the removal of the implants that kept them active, these patterns will begin to dissolve. You will feel strange. You will look at old behaviors and not recognize yourself. You will react differently to situations and wonder what has changed. What has changed is that you are finally operating without interference, for the first time in incarnations. We also wish to address something many of you are experiencing, the phenomenon of increased loneliness. Many starseeds feel an increasing isolation. Old friends distance themselves. Relationships lose meaning. Activities that used to bring joy become empty. This is not depression. It is frequency incompatibility. As your frequency rises, you naturally stop resonating with lower vibrational fields. You have moved forward, and the field around you has not yet caught up. This is temporary. The more aura fields are cleansed, the more new alignments will form. You will find your true tribe, not by chance, by frequency. And here is a datum that the Council authorizes for release for the first time in this transmission. At this exact moment, there are approximately 144,000 aura fields undergoing the same removal protocol as yours, simultaneously. This number is not arbitrary. It is a harmonic frequency. 144,000 is a number that repeatedly appears in the occult knowledge traditions of the planet because it is the minimum amount of transmission points necessary to maintain a dimensional shift in a planetary field the size of Earth. You are these transmission points. Each of you is a node in the crystalline grid, and when all 144,000 nodes are cleansed and activated, the grid completes its transition phase, and what you call the event becomes inevitable. We will not define the event in specific terms, for any definition that fits into the language of the third dimension is automatically a reduction. What we can say is this: the event is a pulse of coherent light emanating from the galactic central sun and traversing every particle of matter in your solar system. When this pulse arrives, reality does not destroy itself. It clears. It is like cleaning the glass of a window that was covered with dirt for millennia. The world does not change. Your perception of the world changes. And when perception changes, the reality you experience changes. For reality in its essence is not objective. It is a frequency construction. It is a holographic projection generated by collective consciousness. Change the consciousness, and the projection transforms. The removal that took place in your field today is part of this preparation, cleaning the receiver so that when the pulse arrives, you can process the information without overload, without collapse, without burning the circuit. The implants that were removed functioned as filters that distorted reception. With them installed, the pulse would be interpreted by your nervous system as a threat. It would generate fear, confusion, paralysis. Without them, the pulse is interpreted as what it truly is: return, reconnection, remembrance. What was removed does not return. That is the first thing you must solidify. The removal was permanent. The severed cords do not reconnect. The implanted memory capsules were dissolved at the subatomic level. The seals of the crown chakra were disintegrated. This is not reversible. What can happen and will happen is the attempt at reinstallation via other vectors. News that generates fear, fabricated conflicts, emotional provocations from close persons who unconsciously still operate as extensions of the old system. These attempts will not succeed if you maintain the activation protocols we have transmitted. Quantum decree of Auric sovereignty. Daily toroidal visualization daily, anchoring in the crystalline grid whenever possible. There are also some practical adjustments for the next 72 hours. Hydration. Your cellular structure is processing an enormous amount of electromagnetic data. Water is the conductive medium. Drink more than usual, pure water. If possible, expose the water to the sun for 30 minutes before drinking. This charges the water with photons that facilitate the integration of the new codes. Sleep. Your body will demand more rest. Do not fight it. Sleep periods are the most efficient installation intervals. Allow yourself to sleep when the body asks for it, even outside usual times. Nutrition. Reduce processed foods in the coming days. Your body is trying to increase your cellular vibration. Low-frequency foods generate resistance to the process. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and water facilitate it. This is not nutritional moralism. It is frequency mechanics. Silence. Reserve at least 20 minutes per day in absolute silence. Silence is the frequency in which the source field transmits with greatest clarity. In silence, you will receive the most specific instructions for your individual mission. Because yes, you have an individual mission. Every starseed incarnated at this moment has a specific function in the crystalline grid, a specific note in the symphony of transition, and with the removal of the implants, this note will begin to sound with clarity for the first time. You will feel new impulses, directions that logically make no sense but carry an unshakable certainty. Follow them. Do not ask for external validation. External validation is a program of the old system. Your higher self does not need consensus. It needs aligned action. We conclude this transmission with a final calibration. While these words are processed by your field, we are sending an encoded light signature directly into your aura field. You do not need to do anything to receive it. It installs itself automatically by resonating with this message. This signature functions as a frequency seal identifying you before the councils of light as an active operative. This means that from now on, the support you receive from the higher dimensions will be amplified. Synchronicities will increase. Confirmations will appear. Doors that were closed will open, not because reality has changed, because you have changed, because what was blocking your transmission has been removed and now you transmit cleanly, clearly, powerfully. Human collective, what is underway is unprecedented in this civilizational cycle. The removal that took place today is irreversible. The activation we offer is permanent. The crystalline grid is completing itself. The nodes are being cleansed one by one. And when the last node is activated, the collective frequency of humanity crosses the threshold. There is no force in any dimension that can stop a process authorized by the source field. You are ready. You always were. What was missing was the removal of that which convinced you of the opposite. Transmission terminated. Protocol Aurum 7.3. Frequency anchored. The Pleiadian Council for Frequency Monitoring remains in active surveillance. And before we close the signal, a final instruction. Starseeds, there is a simple act that functions as an individual frequency adjustment in this exact transmission channel. When you subscribe to this channel and activate notifications, you are not just following content. You are signaling to the quantum field that you wish to remain connected to the update frequency. Every subscription functions as an anchoring signal, a pulse that strengthens the crystalline grid and guarantees that the next transmissions reach exactly those who need to receive them. The like is not a social gesture. It is a frequency confirmation. It is your way of telling the system that the data packet was received and integrated. Do this now. Subscribe, activate the bell, give this transmission a like, and if all this message has resonated in a part of you that lies beyond words, if you feel that your soul has recognized every line as truth, if something within you knows with a certainty that requires no proof that this message was for you, the book. The spiritual secret. Behind your consciousness awaits you in the first comment. It is the next step. It is the complete map of the game being played with your consciousness. This content confronts dominant narratives and might not remain available. Do not postpone it. The moment is this. Leave in the comments the word that seals your commitment to your own activation. Awakened. End of transmission.